The wine glass froze halfway to his lips when he said the company name. Just a flicker, barely visible, but I saw it. I always see the flickers. The table was loud, forks scraping porcelain, fake laughter layered over judgment, but inside my head, everything went quiet, like a room after a gunshot. My wife's hand was on my thigh under the table, squeezing, a warning, or an apology, hard to tell anymore. "Relax," she whispered, without looking at me. "You're making this weird." Her sister's new boyfriend leaned back, expensive watch catching the light, smile sharp with confidence that hadn't been earned, only borrowed. He was still talking, bragging, something about consulting and executive visibility. Everyone laughed again. I didn't, because he had just described my job, poorly. And that was when the memory clicked into place. The late-night server access, the anonymized audit request, the unexplained data pull I'd flagged 3 weeks ago. I set my glass down, slowly. They thought I was quiet because I was weak. That had always been the mistake. My wife had been embarrassed by me for a year now, ever since I left my public-facing role, ever since I stopped playing the dinner party version of success. She hated explaining what I did because it didn't sound impressive enough in one sentence. "He's between projects," she used to say. Between lies, more like. Her sister, always sharper, always watching, brought the boyfriend around like a trophy. New money, loud confidence, a man who talked in headlines and buzzwords. The kind of man who needed witnesses to believe himself. He'd clocked me the moment we met, not as a threat, as furniture. So when he mocked mid-level analysts who think they matter, everyone laughed, including my wife. A soft laugh, polite, disloyal. Then she leaned in close to my ear. "Please," she said, "stop making the family look bad." That sentence lodged somewhere deep, not painful, clarifying, because betrayal isn't always infidelity. Sometimes it's alignment, who someone chooses to stand beside when they think you're small. And that's when he mentioned the internal system name, not public, not client-facing, internal. My pulse didn't spike, it slowed. I let him talk. That's the thing about people who think they're winning. They narrate their own exposure. He described a workflow that didn't exist outside one department. He used terminology no consultant should know unless they'd seen the back end. He joked about legacy security guys being asleep at the wheel. I'd written that wheel. Months earlier I'd flagged an anomaly, credentials accessed from a personal device, traced it, logged it, requested a quiet internal review. The name had been redacted pending confirmation. I never pushed. I waited. Externally, I smiled when required, nodded, ate my food, let my wife squeeze my leg harder each time the boyfriend spoke, mistaking my calm for submission. Inside, I was assembling timestamps, cross-referencing IP ranges, replaying meetings where his face now fit into missing frames. I didn't confront, I collected, because truth is more devastating when it arrives complete. When dessert came, my phone buzzed. Final confirmation. He raised his glass. "To transparency," he said, smirking. I unlocked my phone. "I agree," I said quietly. They all turned, surprised, finally noticing me. I slid the screen across the table toward him. No rush, no drama, just data. His smile collapsed first, not all at once, piece by piece, like a bad structure under real weight. "What is this?" my wife asked. I didn't look at her. "Unauthorized access logs," I said. "Internal credential misuse. Corporate espionage, technically." He swallowed, hard. I leaned back. "You used your girlfriend's family dinners to study behavior. You lifted credentials from a shared terminal. You sold internal strategy to a competitor." Silence. Cold. Total. "I was wondering who'd be stupid enough to do it from a personal device," I added. "Now I know." He stood too fast, chair scraping, panic exposed. I can explain." "No," I said. "You can leave." My wife stared at me like I was a stranger. "You knew?" she whispered. I met her eyes then, finally. I always know, I said. I just don't always act. Security arrived before dessert plates were cleared. I'd scheduled it, quietly, efficiently. No scene, just consequences. As they took him away, her sister cried. My wife didn't move. She looked hollow. I defended him, she said. I noticed. That was the end of the conversation. Later, alone, I packed a singly bag, not because I was angry, because I was done. Some betrayals don't shatter you. They clarify the room, show you who's been laughing while you were listening. I left the house without slamming the door. I didn't need to. The silence behind me was louder than anything I could have said, and for the first time in a long while, I felt rich.